Hey guys, it's your girl Dk1original coming at you from the exact same location. So today, before I jump straight in, let me first of all just start by saying thank you so much guys for your interaction in the last video. Thank you so much for those of you who shared it, those of you who liked, who commented, everything. And to all the new subscribers, hello and welcome to the family. And to all my existing subscribers, thank you so much for your continued support. So this week I'm gonna go into the next phase of the series. So last week we spoke about dating, so now I want to speak about the transition between dating and getting engaged. All right. And I see your guys' comments, every single one of them. I see them. I try to respond to every single one. Y'all are not even playing around with these comments. I love it. You know, y'all are coming in heavy. Y'all are coming in with questions. Y'all are coming in with what you want me to share, and I love that because now I can literally get into what I want to discuss. You know, so I will try to answer every single question. Some of them will be answered here, some of them will be answered in the next one because of the way that I'm putting the series together, right? So I'm doing dating, engaged, and then I'm gonna get into the married life. So it's important to understand that my dating phase, it had its challenges, but it wasn't the thing that made me like completely quit. Even though I did say the challenges, but I mean, oh my word, it got really bad once we were married. And that's what I always emphasize. If it's not good in dating, do not think that getting married is going to make it any simpler. If it's not good in the dating phase, chances of it getting better in marriage is, you understand? And for some people, I mean, they have it good dating and then it changes in the marriage. But if you're already seeing red flags while you're dating, the chances of it getting better once you get married, marriage does not change people. Marriage does not make people different. So it's very important to understand that if the dating is not right, the chances of the marriage being right, slim to none. All right, so we dated, for me and my ex dated for, we dated 3 years. Well, we dated 3 years before we got engaged, right? But then we were engaged for 2 years, and I'm gonna explain why. Okay, so we dated 3 years and then we got engaged. We were pretty young. I mean, when we got engaged, I was 21. We were both 21. Oh, he's younger than me, like slightly, a few months. So he was 20 still, and I was 21. But yeah, so we were still relatively young. I mean, my gosh, we knew nothing. Like when I look back into that season now, I'm like, yeah. You're like, Kate, bro, there was no need for the rush. There was no need for what we were doing. There was like no need at all. Like there was no need. But alas, I digress. So yeah, so going out of the dating thing, you know, we were determined to get married. You know, we had said that we wanted to keep things pure. We didn't, like, I don't even want to lie. Yo, guys, can I just speak on this quickly? Okay, so me and my ex-husband were like leaders in the church, like very like leaders up there, you know. And you know, a lot of the times hey, yeah, so yeah, I'm gonna be taken to that cross first. But most of the time as leaders in the church, we speak a lot about purity and we tell people to do it. And I mean, we had the intention to, but we didn't. I think a year into our dating life, we broke that rule. You know, I'm not proud of it. I'm not saying it now like as a boasting thing, but I'm just saying, you know, I want to be honest and I want to be realistic and I want to explain, you know, like the fumbling and all of that stuff that I did, and I want to be as transparent as possible. But yeah, so we wanted to keep things pure and whatever, and so one of the reasons that we wanted to get married young was that. But another reason that we wanted to get married young was so that we could do our ministry together. In my church, in my previous church, we used to have things called zones and all of that thing. So we were zone pastors together. So we wanted to do it together as a married couple, right? And we wanted to get married, and we were sure that we wanted to get married. And it worked. Like I said, I hope you guys can't hear the background noise, and if you can, I'm just not starting over. We were sure that what we were doing was right. We were sure of it. You know, there's been times in the past where I've put this on the pastors and whatever, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that anymore. I think as much as there was a influence towards that side, we still made the decision. And I think it's very important as a human being and as a person to make sure that you take responsibility for the shit that you do or for the things that you do in your own life, right? So yeah, anyway, we were pretty young. We decided that we want to get married. We did not have the means to get married. We did not guys, we were young, we were kids, and we just wanted to get married. And like naras nachalete, we didn't have money, we didn't have a place to live, but all we knew was we wanted to get married. It was like a big thing. Like honestly, when I think back on it now, sometimes I struggle to really see the big thing. But obviously we also wanted to be at a place where we're not having like the secret sex life and whatever else that we were doing. We just wanted to be committed to each other and start our life together and foster together as well as we can. Anyway, so in 2011 he proposed. Obviously we had spoken about it in the past, obviously that we want to get married. We had spoken about it quite a few times. That's why it still shocks me to this day when my ex-husband says that he knew he didn't want to get married, because when we spoke about it, this man was all for it. Obviously after we separated, he went on to say that he knew that he didn't want to get married, and he knew that he didn't want to be with me, and he knew all of that. And for me, honestly, that for me was one of the most hurtful things that anybody's ever said to me, because if you knew that, why did you still allow me to fall in love with you and then proceed to like plan the whole thing? Like, as getting married is not an easy thing. Like, there's so much planning that goes into it. Like, and he proposed to me unprovoked. Do you understand? Like, he could have delayed that for as long as he wanted to. Matter of fact, he didn't even have to do it. But he did. And then, so it always blows. But I'm going to talk about this later on. This is going to be part of the divorce process that I'm going to be chatting about as well. But so it always confused me, because we spoke about getting married. We spoke about it a lot. The planning, the, getting engagement rings, all of that stuff. So it confused me a lot when he later on said that it's not something that he wanted, or he knew already that he didn't want it at the time. And the biggest confusion of that was really like, but we had such extensive conversations about this. So, but anyway, that's neither here or there. So, we decided we could get married. We told our parents. Then he planned the proposal, I suppose. I got engaged at Tux. Well, not Tux, at Hatfield, at the university. The proposal was really sweet. It was very well thought out. It was very romantic. Once again, one of the things that makes me struggle to think, if you didn't want to marry me, why would you put in so much effort? Like, you use your own money to buy the ring. Questions that I'll never have answers to, honestly, because he refuses to give me those answers. But whatever, I've made peace with it. So he was he got my friends involved. He apparently had told my mom before. So yeah, so we got engaged. He did this whole thing. It was very sweet. He he remembered like small things that were important to me. It was like sort of like it started off from like the main university, went all the way to Hatfield Square where the cinemas were. Not sure if they're still there. And there was like a whole cinema room. And then when I came back out, all my friends were there. He got down on one knee and he asked me to marry him. It was like a whole thing. He got my favorite frozen yogurt. He got the frozen yogurt people placed in. Got my favorite frozen yogurt, led to the next spot and whatever. It was like a whole thing. It was like so sweet and so romantic and so well thought out. I thought it was like really cute. He had little pictures printed out for the little, along the way, like the maze, whatever. It was really cute. It was sweet. It was cute. And he had the cutest little ring, and everything. So it was cute. It was really cute. But yeah. So after we got engaged, we obviously told our parents. I remember we having a meeting with my mom, and my mom was like, listen, I'll support you guys. And I remember my mom specifically said to him, make sure that you don't hurt my baby, because that's my baby. I'm the youngest at home. Like, you make sure you don't hurt my baby, because that's my baby right there, right? But yeah, so we did that whole thing. Us as black people, obviously there's traditional like cultural things that obviously need to be taken care of before you can get married, like mahadi and all of that stuff. In the mahadi process, and this is guys, in the mahadi process, his family was a little bit apprehensive about it, and he literally fought. He was like, listen, I want to marry this girl. You understand? Like, he told them straight, like, this is what I want to do. Once again, why I'm always like, you could have just blamed it on your family, bruh, and like not marry me, period. But whatever, he was like, no, I'm determined, I'm gonna do this, right? Anyway, he had back-to-back meetings with his family to make sure that they're on board. Eventually we did the whole mahadi thing. Hey! Hey! Hey, guys, little proposal is not plan. Yo, in settling US song here, easy, easy. So here's one of the things why now for me, mahadi, that aspect of the wedding is very important to me, and it's not something that I'm willing to settle on, and I really believe that is important. So mahadi, there were so many things during our engagement season that should have just screamed at us to stop, that we ignored. But I want to say we were two kids in love, but now I'm like, I was in love alone, because apparently they're not candy, so I don't know what the fuck was going on. Here we are, we were two kids that wanted to get married really bad. And it couldn't have been for the sex, because we were already having the sex. So, and that's about what it was for. At this point, I'm just like, I feel like I guess what we were chasing, because looking back now, it's like, couldn't have been for sex, because andazi, man. So anyway, first things first, the first round of mahadi, and I don't wanna. He had a bit of problems in his family side. I don't want to get into that because that's his thing. But when they came to my family for the mahadi, there was a little bit of division there. I cannot stress enough how important it is to make sure that as Africans, and as there's such an important cultural aspect to follow when it comes to mahadi and the way that it should be done, that it also is gonna enforce a blessing over to you and your marriage. And you cannot just ignore it, you cannot just mize it because you don't like it, you cannot just, it's inconvenient or whatever the case is. No, there's an important aspect of it. There's an important aspect of it that cannot be ignored. Alright? So anyway, so we did the mahadi thing. And this is, when I look back now, I'm also like, it wasn't done the way I would want it now, man. Like, my friends were not there. We didn't have, it's like, when I look back on it now, there was not a lot of support. It really felt like Naraga Beleza, and I remember because we got engaged in 2011, and then his family said we couldn't get married before his older brother. It's a cultural aspect, I get it. So we had to wait a year. So we were supposed to get married in 2012. And we didn't. Whatever. And we didn't. And then and I remember being very sad about it, about not being engaged not being able to get married during that time. And then I remember there was a thing that happened, but wait, this is coming. I'm not gonna get into this now. I'm gonna get into this next week. Let me get through this first, right? So we didn't get married. We didn't get married in 2012 because his brother had to get married. We went to that wedding as well, and then we had to wait to get married in 2013. Okay, in 2013, Yazi, when I think about it, there was a lot of times and opportunities for me to also walk away. And I think I had built up this fairy tale in my head that, I don't know why, but I had built up this fairy tale and had become, I had become obsessed with the idea of getting married. And I remember one of my biggest things was, if we don't get married now, then I gave myself to you. For what? Then I'm no longer pure. So when I present myself to my husband again, I'm no longer a virgin, I'm tainted. Guys, literally, these were my thoughts. These were my real thoughts, and these were the reasons why I was willing to go in the marriage, even though there were so many things screaming at me not to do it. So anyway, when we did our lobola, I don't remember why, but didn't have enough money. My father had just passed away not too long before that, and I gave him money for my lobola. So essentially, I lobola myself. You, ha, guys. Yeah. So essentially, I lobola myself. I gave him money to do it. I gave him money to buy the blankets, the jazz, the everything. Insert clown emoji here. It's important for your men. You can help your men in other aspects, but this one, don't do that. Here, guys. Clown academies. Anyway, so yeah, that happened, and then I remember there was a time where there was a bit of a scandal at church, and I've got a big mouth, and one thing that happened was that I opened my big mouth, and the scandal involved part of the top leadership of the church, and I opened my big mouth. I got caught up in that whole thing, and I remember being called in. If you know, I got called into the studio, and in front of my face, senior pastor said to my fiance, "You shouldn't marry this girl because what happened?" And I was shocked, I was hurt. My fiance then did not stand up for me at all. I remember he took me home, or got a friend to take me home. It was like after a macro sale or something like that. I'll never forget that. She didn't marry this girl. She's no good. And I remember thinking to myself, in 2011, you were all for this, and you were encouraging us to do this, and now you're the same person that's telling this man not to do it. And I remember thinking, I was very scared. Because I remember thinking to myself, you are, because of your position, he obviously esteems your words very highly. And I remember thinking, yeah, I guess it's over. And I remember I cried so much that day. I cried because I was hurt about how that meeting went and the things that were said to me that I don't want to get into. And that whole thing. And I remember the one thing that kept playing over and over in my head is that this man is going to break up with me, and now I'm going to be a tainted person, and no one is ever going to marry me again. My fiance didn't speak to me for 2 days. Guys, 2 days. You understand? Do you know the hell that puts somebody through? Because the whole time I didn't know what was going on. The only thing I had were the words that were going over my head. And I was stressing, and I was anxious, I was sick to my stomach, just wondering what is going to happen. Basically, my whole future at that time, literally, I was like, my whole future is in the hands of what the pastor said. He eventually came to see me, and I guess he came that day to break up with me. And I remember speaking, and I remember almost reminding him of everything that he had said to me in terms of us getting married and everything. And I remember thinking, so were you lying then? And thinking back on it now, right there, I was given an opportunity. I should have let him break it. But in my head, I was so scared of, like I said, just being tainted and never being wanted again. And the thing is, this might sound silly, but this was my reality, and it was a big reality. And you must understand, when something is your reality and it's your fear, it's all consuming, and it's the only thing that looks like it makes sense at the time. So I short of begged. him not to do it, and reminded him of the promises that we made to each other, reminded him of everything that we had said to each other. And I said, don't do this. And we decided not to do it. We had dinner together, and then we decided that we are going to go back together, stronger, and fight for our opportunity and for our relationship and for us to get married, regardless of what the pastor had said. Okay. So this was still early in the year, and it was early in the year still, and yeah, things were a little bit rocky in the beginning, but eventually we found our groove. Our groove was rocky, but it was our groove regardless. And so I think back on that time now, and I'm like, I should have left. I should have left. Yeah, but I should have let him break off. I should have walked away. But I didn't. And yeah, here we are. So that happened, and yeah, that was the beginning part of our engagement, and mahadi, arona, and all of that stuff. Ugh, man, we were kids, we were so stupid. I remember the day of my lobola, I stayed for half of it, and then I left to go to a church service. At the time, I thought I was doing the work, and it's the best that I could do. So next week, I'm gonna get into the planning of now us getting married and everything that happened, premarital counseling, or the like off, or all of that stuff. I'll get into the premarital counseling. I'll get into the planning for the wedding and everything that happened just before we got married, before I get into the marriage part of our lives. And I think there was somebody in the comment section who asked me a few questions regarding that, so I'll be able to answer your questions in that update. Anyway, nothing back on, and I'm thinking, when I want to do now, let's clear straight. But that's neither here or there. Anyway, I hope you guys can hear that, but I'm wrapping up this video. Thank you so much once again for watching. I'm so sorry that this is so long, and I hope you made it all the way to the end. And if you have not yet done so, please make sure that you subscribe to this channel, and please make sure that you like this video. Make sure that you comment in the comment section down below. Ask me anything that you might want to know, and make sure that you follow me on all my socials, Dk1original, across the board. Until next time, I love you guys also very much.